72323.
LA filing number 16-7970.
WNXX Jackson, KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21 12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. It means we're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. Officially starting to work towards the weekend. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Some shuffling of the old Wednesday schedule here. Koki Riley usually with us at 1:15 on Wednesdays. He is on the road to Columbia, South Carolina, so we'll catch up with Koki on Friday. But still, plenty to do. I want to talk a little bit of LSU baseball, specifically about one pitcher that I haven't really talked a lot about, but that could be key piece for LSU moving forward. It's What If Wednesday. Always welcome those in the Bayou 4 chat as well as on Twitter at HuntPalmer88. Peter Flaherty from Baseball America is going to come on at the top of hour number 2 at 2 o'clock straight up, and we'll chat. They've got their latest Field of 64 out, and they just did a great podcast yesterday kind of detailing all of college baseball. I got a chance to listen to it and thought that Peter would be a good guy to bring on to talk some college baseball as we get into the final regular season week. So we'll do that. And our SEC baseball power rankings coming your way an hour and a half from right now. We'll kick things off same way we do every day with our Genesis opening drive.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Genesis of Baton Rouge.
It is schedule release day in the National Football League, and it is what it is. They do the show this evening that releases the entirety of the schedule, and we'll get to that tomorrow. The process by which we get to that show, I'll admit, is a little bit silly, where we just leak a game here, send that leak out at 9. We'll give that out somebody at 11. Somebody can catch this at 1 o'clock, and we'll throw that out there. And it's just a slow drip all day, which is a little silly, but it's fine. It's completely inconsequential, so who cares that much? That's just my take on it. But fact is that scheduling matters. It matters how many times you're in prime time. It matters what your road schedule looks like. It matters when you play rookie quarterbacks. It matters when you play in the cold. It matters when you're on a short week and what kind of your travel schedule is for that. Scheduling does matter. And the NFL does its best to make everything equitable. And that's why if you're a bad team, you play what's supposed to be a bad schedule. If you're a good team, you play what's supposed to be a good schedule. We don't know until we know, but we understand that the Saints did not have a good year last year, so their schedule theoretically is supposed to be a little bit easier. I'm not here to tell you how good the Rams are going to be this year, how good the Titans are going to be this year, how good the Patriots are going to be this year. I don't really know. It's May. But I know what weather looks like, and I know what teams have rookie quarterbacks, and to me, that's the first thing that I would look at with the Saints. Now, for perspective with this entire segment here, we understand that the Saints are not the Drew Brees Saints anymore, that we're counting on getting in the shotgun and throwing it 52 times and hated going to the Northeast in December and January. It's a different team. And the Saints are now one of those teams that very likely has a rookie quarterback. So you're one of those teams that you're talking about, as opposed to being a consistent with the Brees Payton Saints, and you could count on being a significantly more prepared and better team than somebody who's trotting out a rookie quarterback in September. So this all doesn't matter as much with the Saints because we don't feel like at this point in the calendar the Saints are going to be a great football team in the fall, and we don't feel like they're a Super Bowl contender, and we're not trying to count every single individual win. It's more just kind of, okay, well, this is what we got to do. Let's go do it, and let's get a lot better in the process, right? But let's look at what the Saints have and see some of the things I'll be looking for with the schedule reveal tonight. Of course, you play everybody in your division home and road. So we toss the Falcons, Panthers, and Bucs games to the side. We'll see where they fall. The Saints will play the AFC East this year. They'll play the Patriots at home. They'll play the Jets at home. They will travel to two teams in the AFC East, Buffalo and Miami. They will play the NFC West this year. We know that. They're going to play San Francisco in the Superdome. They're going to play the Arizona Cardinals in the Superdome. Away, they're going to play the Rams out in Los Angeles once again, and they will also play the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. The rest of the schedule is the Bears, the Giants, and the Titans, who the Saints play because they're a last-place team and you play other last-place teams. So that's the collection of 17 games. The first thing I'm looking at is, okay, where could it be really cold? And I say that actually based on experience from guys I've talked to who played in the NFL. Jeremy Hill and Brandon Taylor both told me the first thing they looked at is where we might go when it's cold. Because a lot of those dudes, those two included, who are right here from the 225, don't like it in the cold. And if they're playing, like Brandon's playing for the Chargers, it ain't real cold out in San Diego at that point. So he sees something cold on the schedule, not loving it. Jeremy Hill, he's up in Cincinnati in New England for a lot of his career, so it's cold at a lot of his home games, but they look at that kind of stuff. So you've got really 3 games on your schedule that could be cold, 2 more so than others, and 2 that are probably 2 of the 3 coldest venues in the sport. You play the Bills on the road. Not great based on the opponent because they're really good, and the weather could be awful. And the Bears. And I've never been in Chicago in December or January. I'm not really planning on it. I've been to Chicago in May and been frigid. So those 2, especially with that game in Chicago being on the lakefront, like those are games that could be really, really cold. It could be cold in Carolina. It could be cold in Nashville, but not to that extent. And then you've got Seattle. And I just think of Seattle. I'm not a Seattle weather expert here, but I think of Seattle as just like, it's going to be in the 50s and probably raining. It's going to be that if it's in September. It's going to be that if it's in December. That's probably wrong. It probably gets a little bit colder than that in December, but like I don't think it's going to be 41. I don't think it's going to be 28. Maybe it is, but those are your potential cold weather games. So you'd like to see those a little bit earlier, but that's just one piece to the pie. The thing that can be taken more seriously is the chance to play rookie quarterbacks in their first year. And yes, the Saints probably have one of those in Tyler Shook. Like, he's probably your starting quarterback, so you're one of these teams you're talking about. But the Saints do have the Giants on their schedule, who drafted Jackson Dart. They have Jameis Winston. They have Russell Wilson. So maybe Jackson Dart's not the starter, and that's a moot point. But theoretically, that may be one, if you're actually thinking of it in those terms. It's probably more likely they've got a veteran starting early in the season, and more likely they got a rookie starting late in the season. And that Giants game is at home, so maybe you hope that Giants game is a December game in the Superdome where Tyler Shook's got a little bit of experience, and maybe at that point the Giants have turned the reins over to Jackson Dart for the first time or the second time. That's one to look at there. And then I think it's likely that you're going to play a rookie quarterback with the Titans, who, of course, took Cam Ward with the first pick in the draft. That's a game that you play away from home. If you want to have that one week 2 or 3, I think that would be fantastic. But that's really it as far as cold weather and as far as rookie quarterbacks. The rest of your schedule is pretty much right out there in front of you. So what has leaked to this point? And if you're curious, we do have a schedule tracker up at LouisianaSports.net as leaks continue to come out. Nick Underhill has reported that he believes the Saints will open with the Arizona Cardinals in the Superdome this year. You've got Kyler Murray, a very veteran quarterback there. But it is nice if Tyler Shook gets his first start. You'd kind of rather that be at home rather than in some, I mean, everybody's going to have a hostile environment in week 1 because everybody's fired up, everybody's 0-0. It might be an easier place for him to get his first start to do so at home. So I think that's a positive. How good are the Cardinals going to be? If I had to guess, I would say not great, but at this point, who really knows? The only other game that I've seen leaked and that we've got on our draft track, I've said draft twice, schedule tracker to this point is against the New York Giants. That's a week 5 game, likely at home. So that's just come out, and you look at that and you go, well, who's going to be the quarterback in week 5 for the Giants? At this point, no one could really tell you. You've got a coach that's basically on the hot seat. You've got a quarterback they drafted pretty early. You've got another quarterback that they have brought in that has kind of been testy everywhere he's been for the last 5 years. What's the case going to be there with the Giants? I don't really know. But I know that that game is pretty early in week 5, and it's going to be in the Superdome. We don't have any dates for the Saints as far as road games go and leaked in the schedule. I say all that to sit here and go, as I analyze it, I'm not talking about you, the fan, and how you should feel. I'm talking about this just analyzing and covering the team. I don't know that all this really matters all that much to this Saints team. You've got to get your house in order before I start worrying about 17 other houses and when you visit their houses. So it's all about the Saints getting these draft picks into camp and ready to play, getting their quarterback up and running, getting that offensive line set up so that your quarterback can operate what Kellen Moore's asking him to do. And this year, it would shock me. It would shock me if the Saints are in a big-time spot to play important football around Christmas. And if that's the case, I'll be thrilled to be wrong. Thrilled to be wrong. It'll be a lot more interesting to talk about here. But this is basically one of those deals where, all right, just tell me where to go and we'll figure it out. Not going to spend a ton of time worried about, oh, you got to go to Thursday night on a road trip after you've come in on the road, or, oh, you've got a short week. You're a Monday, and they were a Thursday night the week before, so they've got a lot more prep time. And how many teams are coming off a bye as they play you? And I'm not there with this iteration of the Saints team. I think this time next year, I absolutely will be. I think it's reasonable this time next year to have hopes that your franchise is really moving in the right direction. But this is the transition year, quite literally. Kellen Moore's a transition. Tyler Shook's a transition. You're making a lot of moves moving into this year. And I think high expectations are not necessarily the prevailing emotion down here in South Louisiana. So, at this point, you watch the schedule reveal. If you're one of those that likes to go on a road trip with the Saints every year, you kind of find one of those. If you're a season ticket holder, you see what great players and teams are coming in and when. You already know who's coming in and when they're coming in. And then you worry about the Saints getting better. That's the most important thing for the Saints at this point. It's getting better. And that has nothing to do with when you play the Seahawks. So it'll be a massively watched television program tonight when they reveal the schedule. The NFL is an absolute powerhouse and continues to stay relevant every single month of the year. As far as the Saints go with the schedule reveal, just show me when it's over and we'll see where they're headed. I don't think it's massively impactful for the NFC South race as far as the Saints are concerned. Hope I'm wrong. That's just my take on the situation at this point. That's our Genesis opening drive here on this Wednesday. When we come back, there's an LSU pitcher that I haven't talked a lot about that I probably need to. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is the website. When I say Genesis, you should think luxury. It's a luxury brand of vehicle, and more so than that, it's an experience to be a Genesis driver. You're going to deal with a first-class team over at Genesis of Baton Rouge. They're going to be helpful every step of the way, whether that's going to the lot to purchase a vehicle, whether that's having a test drive remotely at your home to purchase a vehicle. And then you've got the service side of things, where they'll come to you for that valet maintenance that's complimentary for 3 years. When the maintenance is done, they bring your car right back to you. 10 years, 100,000-mile warranty. I can tell you all this stuff, and it doesn't make it any less true, but it probably rings more true for you if you go sit down behind the wheel of a Genesis. Whether it's a sedan all the way up to the SUV, they can help you get into the car that best fits your needs. Start your car buying process today at genesisofbatonrouge.com. Reach out to one of their brand ambassadors. Get behind the wheel for that test drive and become a part of the Genesis family. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. Find them online. genesisofbatonrouge.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. It's pool season down here in South Louisiana. It's not pool season in Chicago because I was watching the Cubs over the weekend. They still got folks in blankets in the stadium. Just takes forever to warm up there in Chi-Town.
I'm really hoping. I was looking at the forecast this week, and there's a high of 80 this week.
Oh, that's good.
However, heading into next week, we're getting there next Thursday. The high on Thursday, 56.
Yeah,
not
it
ideal.
just takes forever to warm up in that city. It's my favorite, but it takes forever to warm up there. But it doesn't take forever to warm up here. It's pretty much always warm here. If you'd like to get a pool in that backyard, Renaissance Homes and Pools is where you need to be. My guy, Joey Blanchard, is hands-on from start to finish. You're going, well, who's that? Well, he's the owner of the company. And when you sit down to design the pool of your dreams, he'll sit there right with you in front of that computer, in front of that iPad. And the technology and the software that they've got is just unbelievable. So you can actually see that pool to scale and what it's going to look like. Outdoor kitchen, they can handle that as well. And it all starts and finishes with Joey. He'll help you with the consultation. He'll be there when they dig. He may be in the equipment digging if somebody's taking a lunch break or something. And then after that installation is done, Joey will be your port of contact as well. You can check them out online at builtbyrenaissance.com. See lots of pictures and images of their fantastic work. They have helped dozens and dozens of people here in the Baton Rouge area with the pool of their dreams. And if you want to make that a reality for you and your family, Renaissance Homes and Pools, builtbyrenaissance.com. All right. So we've talked a lot about LSU's bullpen really since January. And then the first weekend, you saw Maverick Rizzi and William Schmidt and all these guys coming out throwing 96, 97, 98 miles an hour. And you're like, whoa, like this is going to be a staff that just has guys for days. And then you kind of got into the season and you were looking around and like, yeah, Cowan's getting everybody out. Yeah, Evans is awesome. But like, can I trust Schmidt? I don't know. Can I trust Rizzi? Well, maybe, maybe not. He's walking guys. DJ Primo, is that a guy we're going to go to? Connor Ware, can he start? Well, that didn't go so great. And there's just been a lot of guys in and out. And there have been very few guys that you've seen. I can't think of any that have gone out there and you're like, whoa, that guy can't pitch. Like, there are times where Jacob Myers puts too many guys on base, and there are times he throws 99 miles an hour and strikes a guy out. He made Wahiba Lloyd look silly on Sunday. That's probably the SEC Player of the Year. But we've talked about these guys all year, and we've talked about, okay, over the course of a weekend, say in a regional you play 3 games, and you think that Anderson's good for 6 2/3, and Hyason's good for 7, and Cowan's good for 4, and Evans is good for 4. Well, there's like 4 innings, 5 innings that you've got to cover. Well, who's going to do that? And all the guys I just listed are guys that we've talked about and thought, well, can they fill those shoes? And I'm very guilty of this. I'm admitting my guilt here. That one name I haven't really talked about all year, and I did not mention throughout that entire intro to this segment. And that name is Jaden Newt. Jaden Newt came to LSU as a draft risk. He absolutely was a guy that they could have lost to the Major League Draft. From out west, big fastball, projectable body, like, that's a guy that you might struggle to get to campus. Well, they got him to campus, and he got hurt right before the season started. So you miss all of 23 and most of 24, and, like, he came into the fall of 2024 before this season and was kind of an afterthought. I had a conversation with somebody in the program. We talked about potential options in the pitching staff and who was this and who was that, and, like, I asked about Jaden Newt, and they're like, not real sure. Like, we'll see. So I take that information. Like, I'm not going to spend a lot of time covering Jaden Newt. I'm going to talk about some of the guys that I've heard have been great. I'm going to talk about some of the guys that I've watched in scrimmages that are getting guys out. And he's one of these guys that was like a 6-run guy. He was coming in for LSU. He was up 6, and LSU hadn't been down 6 very much, but wasn't a guy that had gotten much high leverage work. And now you kind of look up, and you're getting to the last weekend of the regular season, and you look at Jaden Newt's body of work, and I'm not going to call it dominant because I don't think it's dominant, but sufficient? Yeah. Serviceable? Yeah. Encouraging? Yeah. Since March the 9th, it's been a minute since March the 9th, Jaden Newt has worked 19 2/3 innings. Some of that in the midweek, some of that on the weekend. His ERA in 19 2/3 innings is 3.2. He's given up 17 hits and 7 earned runs. He struck out 26 and walked 8. Great strikeout to walk. ERA just a tick over 3. Had some outings where he's given you a little bit of length. He worked, let me make sure that I got this right. He worked 4 innings against UNO. He worked 3 innings against Louisiana Lafayette. He worked 2 innings against Mississippi State, 2 1/3 against Northwestern State. So, like, a lot of that's in the midweek, but I got news for you. You're going to play a regional coming up 2 weeks against a team that kind of looks like one of these midweek teams. We talked about that every Tuesday. It's like, yeah, Southeastern's not an SEC team, but they might be here in a regional, and they might. Yeah, look, ULL is not an SEC team, but generally a solid program, and their talent level may be like the 4 seed that comes to Baton Rouge. But if you really want to take out that midweek stuff and just talk about the SEC stuff, because we know that's the best teams in the country, and that's a super regional and Omaha-like opponent every single week. And Jay says that every week, and I honestly believe it. I don't think South Carolina is super regional caliber, but you could convince me that Mississippi State made a super. You could convince me that a team in a super could look like that. So look at his last 4 SEC outings. There's only 4 of the season. Newt goes 2 innings against Mississippi State. I know that was a long time ago, but 2 innings of shutout baseball against Mississippi State. He worked 2/3 of an inning against Alabama, had a strikeout, didn't give up a run, 1 hit. In College Station, 1 2/3 innings, 2 hits. One of them was a home run, so there's an earned run. But he also had 3 strikeouts, just 1 walk. Against Arkansas, he throws a scoreless inning with a strikeout, no walks. In total, against SEC competition, you're talking about 5 1/3 innings, small sample size, but 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run on a homer, 7 strikeouts, and 2 walks. That's fine. I'm not asking him to be the closer. I'm not asking him to take Anderson's place. I'm asking him to come in there and get some outs. And if you've asked him to come in and get outs against Southeastern, he did it. Asked him to come in and get outs against Louisiana Lafayette, did it. Asked him to come in and get an inning of work against Arkansas, he did it. So it's a fastball that's 94, 95. Looks pretty easy at times. He commands his changeup well. I think it's a split, but it acts like a changeup fading away from the left-hander. Every once in a while throws a curveball up there. And again, not asking him for 6 innings. I mean, every once in a while that happens with one of these guys in the postseason. It was more common in the SEC tournament back in the day with double elimination and all that, when you didn't potentially start on Friday, which LSU could this year. But he has done everything you've really asked. And there hasn't really been a blow-up outing. Like, his worst outing of the year statistically was his second longest. ULL scored 2 runs off of him in 3 innings, and only one of them was earned. Nichols got him for 2 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. That was the game in Thibodeau. But that's been it. He has not gotten, clobbered in any game. So I will harp on this a lot next week, or 2 weeks from now, I should say, when you're getting into the SEC tournament. And then definitely in a regional. That's the biggest part of this conversation. But a regional is a collection of outs. And hopefully, in one of these regional games, I'm not going to be ambitious and ask for all 3, but in one of these regional games, LSU separates, and you win that game 11-3. Well, somebody's got to pitch the 8th and the 9th that day. And I really would prefer it's not Zach Callen or Kason Evans. And if you can send somebody out there to get 7 outs, the last out of the 7th and all the 8th and 9th, and throw 58 pitches, and save everybody for later in the weekend, that is an important role. You can sit here and balk at it and go, well, anybody can do that. Well, not really. And especially if it's 5 or 6. There got to be guys that you really trust. If you're up 18-1, yeah, they'll find a way. They'll be fine. But that 5 to 6 run area where you can't come in there and then give up, 3 straight doubles and a homer, and then all of a sudden it's down to 2 and you got to go to Cowan. I'm overanalyzing a little bit here, but y'all understand how crazy pitching can get in these regionals. And right now, I still think your highest leverage outs are going to be managed by Anderson and Ianson and Cowan and Evans, and then right now probably Shores and Primo/Ware, with the left-hander factor, like Jot Laviolette last week. And then after that, everybody's kind of in a pot. But I feel like you can trust Jaden Newt, because you're talking about a guy that the most important stat, I think, is walks. And over the last 19 innings, you're talking about 8 walks. Almost 20 innings, 8 walks. It's not elite, but it's good enough. You don't feel like he's going to come in and put the first 2 guys on base. And that's a distinct possibility with at least Rizzi and Schmidt, who I have massively high hopes for in this program, and I think are going to have to pitch a little bit come postseason time. But we have seen both of those guys come in, and they've faced 3 batters, and 2 of them have either been hit or walked. Newt's not going to do that. Newt is generally around the plate, hadn't gotten lit up, and I haven't talked about him a lot, but he's been worth mentioning, and I think it's important that I kind of get that out there right now. So, again, not the highest leverage guy on your staff, but an out eater. And LSU's going to have to eat some outs up over the course of time, most notably in a regional and really in Omaha as well. So Jaden Newt, hat tip to the way he's been throwing the baseball, and we'll see what the future's got for him as we move forward in this final week of the regular season of college baseball. Speaking of college baseball, very excited for our segment at the top of the hour. We'll chat with our friend from Baseball America. His name is Peter Flaherty. Great podcast that I listened to yesterday, and we'll chat with him coming up in about half of an hour. Also, SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming your way at the bottom of hour number 2, so about 1 hour from right now. We'll talk some SEC Baseball Power Rankings and see what the Shuffle of 16 looks like. I just did those about 2 hours ago, and there's a lot of shakeup, as you might imagine. So we'll get to that in hour number 2. Don't go anywhere. It's a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools, built by Renaissance.com. Built by Renaissance.com is that website. That After Work Week in the rearview mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It is bottom of the hour. First hour, Wednesday. That means it's time for What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
Alrighty, first one here. What if you could only fly one airline the rest of your life?
Okay, so I have a lot of friends who have very strong feelings about this. They travel a lot for work and whatnot.
Yes.
I've flown, I would say, the average amount. Like, I fly like twice a year, maybe. I feel like most people, hop once a year for a vacation to see family or something. Certainly don't fly for a lot of business all over the place. We don't go on a lot of vacations.
Hopefully you're flying to Omaha, maybe.
Yeah, that would be good. In a couple of weeks, I would like to fly to Omaha. But I don't even. When was the last time I was on an airplane?
You went. Well, you were gonna go to Dallas, but that didn't.
Yeah,
happen.
that didn't happen. We didn't go to. Didn't go on a vacation last year. Like I don't fly very much. Is the point. I don't have one preference. I've flown American. I've flown Delta. I've flown Spirit. I've flown Southwest. Like none of it appears different to me. I haven't done it a lot. I was super bummed out that Spirit was late, and I arrived in the third inning of the Cubs game when I went. But like, I didn't think it was their fault. I get delayed on other airlines too. So I don't have a strong preference. Are you a big like airline guy?
I don't fly that much either, but I will say that my answer would have been Southwest, but they're changing everything now. Like they're getting rid of I think they're going to be adding assigned seating. They're getting rid of the free check bags. So like that was the draw, because not only they fly direct a lot of places. You can fly direct to Chicago, which is great, but they're getting rid of a lot of their Hallmark tickets.
Yeah, I'm looking purely at flight times and layover times. I don't care what the logo next to it is. Give me Air Alaska, give me Delta. Like, I don't care. I want to know where I'm going and at what time.
Yes,
and that's about all I care about.
And
I don't
of course
really
the
think about
price
anything
as well,
else.
but
I've done the Southwest thing where you do the stand in line and just get on and go wherever you want, and I've done assigned seating. I don't really care. Like I just don't. My friends think I'm nuts for not having a preference.
Yeah,
but I don't. I just don't even notice.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even people that don't fly a lot, there's like, oh well, I only fly this, or I only fly that. I mean, it does make sense to have. It makes sense to only fly one airline if you're going to fly a lot.
Yeah,
you get rewards and the miles and stuff like that. So it does make sense why some people.
I get some miles, like not a lot, but I get some miles off my credit card that I use every month. But I can use them on every airline.
Right,
so
right.
It is what it is.
All right, next one here. This one's from Twitter. What if Kevin O'Sullivan or Wes Johnson takes the head coaching job at Mississippi State?
I don't think Wes Johnson would do that. I think he has a kind of chance to be kind of a trailblazer in Athens.
Yeah.
They haven't been very good for a long time. They were a national championship team in the early 90s, and Dave Perno had a couple of good teams, but like not. They've kind of been I don't want to call it a sleeping giant, but like they haven't been very good, and you can be very good at Georgia. Kevin O'Sullivan is a name I thought of immediately when that job opened, not because I think Mississippi State is a better job than Florida, because I think Kevin O'Sullivan wants out of Florida. I mean, it was a little bit eye-popping for me to be in Omaha in 2023 and see how few Florida fans were there. And like, they do a better job of getting home attendance now that they've redone what is now, I guess, Conjuring Ballpark. But they just don't care in Gainesville. Like, they care when their basketball team's awesome, they show up. When their football team's awesome, they show up. They're not going to travel, and it's not a big deal, and I don't know how the NIL situation is. He's done a marvelous job there, but I know he wanted this job. And I know that LSU kicked those tires, but ultimately LSU made the right decision. But I would have said some negative things about Kevin O'Sullivan like 5 weeks ago. Not right now. They're playing as good as anybody in college baseball. So he's really good. If he wants a fresh start at a place that really does care, and I promise you, he takes Mississippi State to Omaha in 2 years, they'll bring 9,000 people up there because they do care about that kind of stuff. As far as what the programs would do, I have no reason to believe that Kevin O'Sullivan and Wes Johnson wouldn't win in Starkville because they're winning at places that are comparable, I think. So, yeah, I think that would be both of those would be good hires.
All right, we got some from the YouTube chat here. This one's come up a few times. What if Hunt got the offer to go to Barstool instead of T-Bob?
I would not be in a hurry to move. I don't know what T-Bob's offer is, so I'll talk about him in the next segment. But I'm not in a hurry to move to Chicago. I love the Cubs dearly. I love that city dearly. I'm not real keen on moving that far away from my family, from LSU sports, to go to live in the Midwest. Like, that's just, I am a homebody in that way. Not that I have to live under my parents' roof, but I like it here. I like it in Louisiana. I love it in Baton Rouge. I want to go to the box. I want to go to Tiger Stadium. I want to go to the PMAC. That's what I want to do. I don't really want to go talk about the Jets and Patriots and live in Chicago far away from everybody. So that's probably a character flaw of mine. I've never lived outside the state of Louisiana ever in my entire life. I lived in Shreveport for 18 years, and then I moved to Baton Rouge and have lived here for 19 years. So that's probably a flaw, but it is what it is. I don't have eyes to go do anything outside of here. I talk about and experience what I like to experience right here in Baton Rouge.
All right, next one here. What if Beck had his nursery prepared? Well, I'll go ahead and answer that one. It's not prepared.
There's no chance.
No, it's not. We have a room. We have things in it that are going to be used for the nursery, but it's not put together yet, and that's okay.
That is okay.
Now, I'll say this: my wife is freaking out because she always has to plan ahead.
Yes,
and she is really worried.
Due date is
it's August 8th. We have
May.
We have multiple months.
That thing needs to be August 8th is a due date.
Yes,
that thing needs to be complete on July 1.
July 1.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, she need to be.
Okay, here's the thing. No, my wife is going to totally agree with you. She always wants to be like 3 months ahead of schedule for everything. So she's going to want it to be ready by then. That seems a little early.
Sometimes
though.
they'll come early, and it's not a lot to do. I'll tell you this. We moved, and we specifically moved to have an extra room for what would be a new baby.
Yes.
She was not pregnant, but that was the plan. And so when we moved, and there was something that came into the house in the process of the move that we didn't have a spot for,
it's going in there.
It went in the nursery.
Yes.
So when we opened that door when she was like 2 months pregnant, it was mass chaos in that bedroom. There were boxes and lamps and chairs and stuff, artwork leaned up against the wall. Like, it took a long time to get that figured out. You probably don't have that issue.
We do not.
Y'all have not just moved.
We don't.
But yeah, we had to do a little bit more work than that.
Yeah, we do have. There are some things in there that aren't going to be staying in that room that we do need to figure out what we're going to move to. But however, we've got most of the stuff. I do have to assemble the crib, which is going to be interesting because it is actually my wife's crib that she used when she was a baby. So it's old.
We had a third generation.
Yes,
crib,
so
and I broke it on accident.
Yeah, I'm worried about putting this thing together. There's obviously not going to be an instruction manual for it, so this is going to be interesting to figure that out.
It's not that important. If the baby just falls out of the crib, no big deal.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
I probably would worry about it, but all right, moving on. Next one here. What if Southern Miss is a 2 seed in Baton Rouge?
I don't know anything about Southern Miss's team this year. I know that Christian Ostrander is their head coach, who was a marvelous pitching coach there when they were churning out some really, really good staffs, specifically the one that LSU saw in that regional in 2022. So I would imagine that he's got some pitching talent, but I don't know anything about them.
They are 30th in the RPI right now.
I'll elaborate on that entire thing. Here's my concern. Florida as a 2 seed across the way, not in Baton Rouge, but in the other regional. Tennessee is a 2 seed in the other regional. Those are my concerns. Like, I don't want Liam Doyle in a super regional. I'm sorry. If that makes me a coward or scared or whatever, I don't need a left-hander that throws 100 miles an hour coming in here for
and probably going to be a top 3 pick in the draft.
Right. My concern is not UC Irvine. It's not Troy. It's not Southern Miss. It's not even, honestly, like Clemson or TCU. My concern is the SEC teams that have dudes. And again, I'm putting the caveat in there that I don't know much about Southern Miss, but my guess is the 5th pick in the draft does not lead their rotation. So
yeah, I would guess
not
so.
too concerned about that.
All right, last one here. Let's see. What if the Saints never signed Derek Carr?
So you got Andy Dalton under center,
maybe Jameis
and you're
Winston,
still going to get
round.
super hurt like that. Like, it's not a lot different. Dennis Allen's still fired.
I think you're going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. The difference is that this year's team is saddled with Derek Carr money, and that would not be the case if you never signed him.
Yeah.
Like, you would have had some more flexibility. I'm certain the Saints probably would have coughed it up on a bunch of old dudes who are really expensive, because that's kind of what they've done. I don't know that the Dennis Allen, Cam Jordan, Demario Davis, Tyrann Mathieu, Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, Alvin Kamara Saints I don't know that there was a quarterback option that was going to help them significantly.
Yeah.
You would have had to, because I don't think you were going to bottom out to get Jaden Daniels 2 years ago. So, like, who are you going to get as your quarterback? Bo Nix? Is that we're going to hitch our wagon to Bo Nix and we feel like we'd be in a lot better spot? I don't know if I completely buy that. So, possible, but that's connecting a lot of dots at this point. I think that now you just have to eat and swallow those 2 years that you had at the end with Carr, and just know that there's light at the end of the tunnel now. Like
yes.
That light you can see. It's far away, and I feel like too often I go to my Cubs comparison because it's the pro comparison that I have. And it was not a lot of fun to watch the Cubs trade all their guys away and then not be very good for 3 years. But they're on the other side of it now, and they've got some young players on good contracts, and they drafted pretty well. And
they did the opposite of what the Saints would have done. And the Saints, in that situation, the Saints would have just kept re-signing those guys to 1 or 2 year deals and pushing the can down the road. And the Cubs got rid of those guys right at the right time. None of them have really done a whole lot since leaving, so it was the right move.
Here they are. They're good at this point. So hopefully the Saints are good. Hopefully 1 year from now. Hopefully
that would be great.
If Shook hits, sky's the limit. You just rarely hit on those guys. We'll see. But to Beck's point, you don't win the lottery without buying a ticket. The Saints have a ticket. Just it's kind of a long shot whether or not it works. So that's it for What If Wednesday here on this Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We come back. We'll talk about our morning show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life, so why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Check out builtbyrenaissance.com, Renaissance Homes and Pools. You've been thinking about taking that plunge, to use a bad pun, putting that pool of your dreams in the backyard. You can contract Renaissance, builtbyrenaissance.com, and start that process today. Joey Blanchard, the owner there, will walk you through the entirety of that process, and you will be thrilled with your product. He's done it for dozens and dozens and dozens of homes around the Baton Rouge area, and you could be next. BuiltByRenaissance.com. If you were at work today and just getting off, or you're leaving lunch and had a busy day and not paying attention to our station, some news this morning. T-Bob Hebert at 9 o'clock announced that Friday will be his last show on Off the Bench. He has accepted a job with Barstool Sports up in Chicago, so the Hebert clan is going to head up to the pirate ship, as they call it, in Chicago, and push off the dock there. And we are just so pumped for him. I've said this via Twitter, but so proud of T-Bob for all the work that he's done here, for moving up to such an amazing spot for him and his family, and wish him absolutely nothing but the very, very best up there. He has been phenomenal for our station for almost a decade. It's crazy because they were talking about this right at the when T-Bob made that announcement that, like, Colada and the Prince was the morning show here, and Derek went on a Sunday to jump in and be the right-hand man to Ed Ogeron, who was the interim coach of the football team. So Guarantee was scrambling a little bit, and I jumped in for, I guess it was like 5 months in 2016 into 2017, and held that spot until they could find someone permanent to do it. And T-Bob was the guy that they dubbed to do it. And so I held the baton as long as I could, and then tossed it to T-Bob, and he has absolutely run with it since. And he's worked with Jordy, then worked obviously with Jake for a long time now, and all the production staff that they've had. And it's just been an awesome, awesome morning show. I certainly listen every morning on the way to drop off the kiddo, and they never cease to make you laugh and make you think, and talk some sports while they're at it. And he's been a great addition to the Guarantee team here, and we will certainly miss him a ton. But it's, like I said, an awesome opportunity. And we just talked about it in What If Wednesday. And what if I had gotten that opportunity? I think a lot of folks are just talking about the Chicago, because I love the Cubs so much. And yeah, I love going to Chicago to watch the Cubbies, and we'll continue to do that. And now when I do, I'll have a friend up there in T-Bob who will be there working, and we can maybe link up. I hope to make that trip a lot more times over the years. And I tweeted this out earlier. Hopefully those three Hebert kids grow up at Wrigley a little bit. There's more room on the bandwagon. Like, T-Bob went to Chicago last year, got the jersey, saw Shota Imanaga pitch. We hit a walk-off home run. I can't even remember who hit it that day, but he was there in the rain, and I texted him when he was there. I was like, please tell me you didn't leave before that happened. He did not, and he said he had adopted the Cubs as his baseball team, and this is before he had made this move. So hopefully that sticks, and we can get three more on the bandwagon. Maybe Caitlin jumps in as well. We'll take as many as we can possibly get, right, Beck? I mean, we're not going to try to kick people off the bandwagon.
No.
We're welcoming here with our Cubs family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's trending right now. We're trending. The Cubs are trending right now. So if you want to get on now, this is the right time, because if you wait until the playoffs, or wait until the Cubs have won 110 games or something like that, then at that point you're going to be called a true bandwagoner.
That's
but
right.
If you start now, then you maybe can avoid those
And T-Bob
names.
doing the show on some Fridays in a Cubs jersey certainly gives credence to the fact that he was in early. And we're not going to hold it against young Bobby, who's two.
No.
So we'll let him jump aboard no matter how many wins the Cubs have. But very, very cool for T-Bob. Before I had a show with Jeremy or here, I would come on with the morning show every single Friday at 7:30 every morning, and would shop it up with those guys before I went and sold insurance. So I've got a great relationship with the morning show, and certainly wish T-Bob nothing but the best, and excited for what comes next for Jake and the morning show as well. But T-Bob Hebert will be with us two more shows, Thursday and Friday, and he will be out of here. But we will certainly miss him and wish him nothing but the best up there in Chicago. where he will take his next job with Barstool Sports. Going to be chopping it up with Mincy, probably Brandon Walker. Imagine doing some college football stuff. I don't know what T-Bob's going to do at Barstool. I feel like I consume a reasonable amount of Barstool content, but not all of it, so I don't even know where they could possibly go. There's probably some Star Wars wrestling shows that T-Bob would love to be on that I don't even know exist at this point.
Dungeons and Dragons.
So I don't even know, but I know he'll be a star once he gets up there. So congrats to T-Bob. And if you did not get that information earlier today, that's where things are headed. And T-Bob's got a great ode to Louisiana up at louisianasports.net that just encapsulates his personality so wonderfully. If you aren't aware, T-Bob grew up in Georgia and came here to play football, and the state's thrown its arms around him, and he certainly has with the state. And he wrote a great little piece up there at louisianasports.net, so go check that out. Missed any of our number one, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Just search Hunt Palmer Show. Like, subscribe, rate, and review. Talk Saints schedule release, that'll be dated in about 5 hours, so go ahead and check that out at Hunt on Saints. Jaden Newt's emergence as a real presence in the LSU bullpen, I wanted to note that, so did at 1:15. We played some What If Wednesday at 1:30. Got a lot to do in hour number 2. Peter Flaherty of Baseball America is going to join us after Sports Center. Got a great podcast, and they've got their new field of 64 out, so we'll talk to Peter about that. And the SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming up at the bottom of hour number 2 in 35 minutes. We'll pause for Sports Center. Come back with us for the second half of a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance, HighlandIG.com is that website. Storm season is just about here. Summer months mean storms, and you know that if you're in this part of the world. Do you know what your property policy says in the event that a storm does come through and cause some damage? How did you calculate your business interruption limits? Do you know? Do you even know what business interruption is? You're a business owner. I've seen firsthand business interruption insurance bail businesses out after a significant property loss. Make sure that's right. Do you know what your named storm or wind and hail deductible is? Do you have any idea what a co-insurance penalty may be? If these are not things that you've considered as a business owner, you've just looked at the bottom line on that premium, let Jonathan Carver and his team at the Highland Insurance Group come in and audit your policy and make sure it responds correctly as storm season approaches. They're online at HighlandIG.com, based right here in Baton Rouge. It's Jonathan Carvo and the Highland Insurance Group, online at HighlandIG.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Derrick Henry and the Ravens agreed on a 2-year, $30 million extension, $25 million guaranteed, largest deal in NFL history for a running back over 30 years old. The Knicks, one win away from their first appearance in the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals since 2000 and a matchup with Indiana. New York will try to get that victory in Game 5 tonight against the Celtics in the East Semis on the road. First Take host, Stephen A. Smith.
Boston has a team that can beat the Knicks for Game 5. We all know this, but the New York Knicks need to prioritize taking them out because the Indiana Pacers are waiting, and you don't want to find yourself in a position where you're grinding and scratching your way into the conference finals while their rest is sitting pretty waiting for you to handle your business.
Game 5, 6:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Warriors will be without injured guard Steph Curry for a must-win in Game 5 West semis tonight against the Timberwolves. Second-round Stanley Cup playoffs, 2 Game 5s tonight. Maple Leafs and Panthers, 7 Eastern, ESPN, followed by the Oilers and Golden Knights.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, we'll react to the NFL schedule release, and I'll tell you which early season matchup I'm most excited about. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Officially half that work week in the rearview mirror. We're working towards the weekend here on a Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Final weekend of regular season play in college baseball. It'll be LSU and South Carolina from Columbia coming up tomorrow night. Like 40% of the time in my car, you get the Frozen soundtrack or the Blippi Excavator song. The other 60%, I'm trying to consume as much college baseball content as I possibly can. Was checking out the Baseball America podcast yesterday. Peter Flaherty, one of the co-hosts of that podcast. He's a national writer and analyst for college baseball and the MLB draft for Baseball America. Good enough to give us some time here on this Wednesday. He does so on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Peter, thanks for the time. How are you?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
It is our pleasure. Y'all's latest field of 64 came out today. LSU, the number 2 national seed behind Texas in those projections. They're pretty volatile week to week with a lot going on all over the country. Texas has obviously lost a couple of weekends in a row. Give me through y'all's thought process, Texas, LSU, and then Auburn right behind them at number 3.
Yeah, I mean, as you hit on, it's pretty volatile week to week. So, you know, you've seen a lot of changes up there at the top, and then throughout the entire thing. I guess their process with having Texas at 1, they're still atop the SEC standings at 20-7. They have a top 5 RPI. They're 40-10 overall. They've got a top 15 strength of schedule. Metrically, they have a really strong resume, and also record-wise. And then LSU right behind it. We also debated having LSU there at the top seed. We felt metrically they weren't quite there yet. Just, you know, they're firmly a top 8 national seed, but they're 222nd ranked non-conference strength of schedule. And then they still have a top 25 strength of schedule. But when you're talking about the number 1 overall national seed, that's on the somewhat lighter side to have that. But that's not at all a knock on LSU at all. As I said, they're still in a very good spot to have a top 8 national seed, home field advantage throughout its entire run to the College World Series. They're in a very good spot. And then Auburn, I guess, at 3, that felt pretty natural. Coach Thompson's done an excellent job this year. They're second in RPI. They have the number one strength of schedule. They have 14 quad one wins. That's a pretty dynamite resume from a metric standpoint. It felt like they were a pretty natural fit there at 3.
Everybody in the SEC has gotten punched in the mouth at some point or another. Just took Texas longer to get there. They go to Fayetteville and get swept, and then lost 2 out of 3 against Florida last weekend. What's your confidence level in Texas as we move into late May right now? Is it wavering a little bit?
I'd say a little bit. They've now lost each of their last 2 series. They're down to number 6 in our most recent top 25. Now, I will say it's wavered in the last couple of weeks, but Coach Schlossnagle in year 1 has done an unbelievable job, and this is with a team that had its struggles last year in the Big 12, and they've assimilated really, really well to the SEC. They can really pitch, and that's a huge testament not only to Coach Thompson, but also to pitching coach Max Weiner. The pitching on this team is absolutely a strong suit, undoubtedly. I think I wonder a little bit how much they're going to hit. And if they're going to be able to hit enough to sustain a run to Omaha, I think they can get there on their pitching alone. But if something were to do them in, it'd be their lack of offense. And we've now seen that in each of the last 2 weekends against 2 high-quality clubs. And Arkansas a couple weeks ago, and then also Florida. In their 2 losses against Florida, they scored a combined 3 runs. In their 2 losses against Arkansas, 3 losses, but in their first 2 losses against Arkansas, they scored just 1 run total. So I know that their pitching is going to keep them in every game. I'm not worried at all about that. Maybe a little bit more so just given Jared Spencer being out, but still a talented staff. I wonder how much it's going to hit. So I think when looking at teams that could contend for a national title, Texas is certainly on its list, but they lack the well-roundedness that some of the other teams have in my mind.
Peter Flaherty is our guest, at Peter G. Flaherty on Twitter. If you want to check him out, he's a national writer and analyst, college baseball and the MLB draft for Baseball America. LSU, I know y'all talked about him on the podcast yesterday. For Tiger fans that want to listen, it's just about right at the top of the podcast. But give us your thoughts on LSU as a team. We know you've got them as the number 2 national seed here in the field of 64.
Yeah, we have them ranked first nationally in our most recent top 25. That was an easy choice on our weekly call. That was kind of a set it and forget it. And then number 2 national seed, we dove into that a little bit. And then on the podcast, I think if I were picking a national champion today, they would be on the very, very short list of teams I would consider, and for good reason. I think harping back and circling back to that point of well-roundedness, LSU fits that description to a T. I think starting offensively, you have 6, 7, 8, or 9 guys that you can feel really comfortable with in the batter's box. Obviously Derek Curiel, who's been an outstanding freshman, Jared Jones, Danny Dickinson, and Stephen Milam are kind of spearheading that effort. But when you supplement guys in like Jake Brown, Chris Stanfield, Ethan Fry, who's had a breakout year, Josh Pearson, whose experience is unmatched and is also producing at a respectable clip. Again, I just rattled off 8 guys there. That is a really tough team to both get 27 outs against and also win those 27 outs. And then that's not even to mention the pitching staff. And they have one of the most formidable 1-2 punches, I think, in the country with Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson. Cade is a National Pitcher of the Year candidate. I think, full disclosure, when all said and done, it'll go to Liam Doyle. But Cade this year, 3.65 ERA, 124 strikeouts to just 20 walks in 76 innings. It's a really tantalizing combination of strikes and also stuff. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he goes inside the top 15 or so picks in this year's MLB draft. And Anthony Ianson has hit another level since 2 really productive seasons at UC San Diego, sub-3 ERA, 116 strikeouts in 74 innings. I think in a trait that's becoming increasingly rare in today's college game, he really knows how to pitch. Command and control are really advanced. It's a simple, repeatable delivery, and he's got improving stuff to boot. So he's got a lot going for him. And then, Kason Evans is your 3. You throw in William Schmidt, Chase Shores, who's been effective, Connor Ware, and Zach Cowan, who's been one of the best relievers in college baseball. I named 8 guys in the lineup. That was about 6 or 7 guys on the pitching staff. So there's depth on both sides of the baseball. It's high quality depth at that. and it just kind of screams a team that could potentially dogpile in Omaha for the second time in the last 3 seasons.
This is a question that I wanted to be sure I asked, because this is something that's a little bit new. You're the second outlet that I've seen this week that have put 6 SEC teams as a top 8 seed. And that's not something we've ever seen before. And it's something we've been asking about really for like a month around here, because the RPIs kind of looked that way. Do you feel like there's a chance the committee would look at that and go, may need to slide Coastal in, may need to look at Oregon if they're a Big Ten champion, because that's too many SEC teams? Or do you think that the committee will look like y'all did at Baseball America, like some others have gone and go, well, these are the ones that deserve it, so we don't care what their conference is?
I think that's the route they'll go. I think they'll go the most deserving route. I bet Oregon will host when all is said and done. Coastal is, at least at this point, looking like a slam dunk host when all is said and done. But as far as the top 8 national seed goes, I think LSU, barring an unforeseen setback this weekend in Columbia, is in a really, really good spot to be a top 8 national seed. Where exactly they slot in inside that top 8, I guess we'll find out in a week and a half. But for me, at least right now, they're pretty safely inside that top 8 national conversation. To circle back to their metrics a little bit, they're 7th in RPI. They have a top 25 strength of schedule. They have 19 quad 1 and quad 2 wins. It's a really dynamite resume through and through. So I have a hard time imagining that, again, barring an upset weekend in Columbia, which I don't think will happen, LSU will have a top 8 national seed, which is huge heading into Omaha, because, I mean, they're 30-5 at Alex Box Stadium. It's one of the best environments in college baseball, one of the best crowds in college baseball. That sets them up really, really well for a deep run.
And last one here, we appreciate it. Peter Flaherty is our guest, national writer and analyst over at Baseball America. How do you feel the health of college baseball is? 'Cause I feel like it's from an exposure perspective, it's as good as it's ever been. But I look at it and I go, it's so regional, and the SEC is just dominating up in Omaha, and you don't see a lot of schools from out west, and now they're in the Big Ten or they're in the ACC. Like, do you feel like it's gotten a little regional, if more popular, or do you feel like it's in a good place?
It's a good question. I think nationally, and I might have my rose-colored glasses on of covering the sport, but for me, I feel like we're entering the golden age of college baseball. Now, I'm on the younger side, but at least in my lifetime, this feels kind of like we're entering the golden age, which is a really great thing to say. And the SEC is the best conference in college baseball, without a doubt. I mean, they could have 8 or 9 regional hosts this year, 13 teams get in the field. So I think they're carrying the load. But when you talk about teams out west and some of these, quote unquote, smaller schools like Coastal Carolina, like Coastal could host. UCLA has a really quality team. They're looking like a host, and they have what it takes to potentially make a deep run into June. So I think while much of the talent, or at least, a really good amount of the talent, is centered and focused in the SEC, there are high-quality players and high-quality teams in every corner of the country. There are just more of them in SEC country. But I think no matter where you live, no matter what team you're a fan of, there's plenty to root for and plenty to follow.
Peter, we certainly appreciate some of your time. If you're looking for college baseball content this time of year, you can check him out on Twitter at Peter G. Flaherty. Of course, catch him at Baseball America. He's a national writer and analyst there for college baseball and the MLB draft. Enjoyed the conversation. We'll do it again soon, all right?
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. He is Peter Flaherty. Just quickly, because I want to transition out of this. You know what? We'll do it in the next segment. We'll do college baseball and kind of look at Baseball America's field. I have some big picture thoughts, not necessarily, LSU is playing its first round game against Central Connecticut. What is that? I'm not getting into that. There's a big picture thing that I want to get into, and I want to spend a little bit more time on it than a minute and a half. So we'll do that when we come back after this.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Genesis of Baton Rouge, genesisofbatonrouge.com is that website. Every car that's on the lot is online at genesisofbatonrouge.com. It's a great resource to go check out, genesisofbatonrouge.com. You can find all the vehicles, as I mentioned. There's a lot of great information. There's pricing. There's great pictures, safety information as well. You can get a feel for what you're kind of looking at, but you don't really know until you get behind the wheel. And my guess is that a lot of you that are driving around listening, that may be listening on demand or your workout or in the car, wherever the case may be, you've never been behind the wheel of a Genesis because they're fairly new to the game. Go check it out. You'll see the difference. It's an experience to drive a Genesis. It's an experience to deal with the great people at Genesis of Baton Rouge. It's an experience to have that 3 years of complimentary valet maintenance. Go try it, and you won't regret it. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you by. Their airline at Pico, across the street from Women's Hospital. If you're in the market for a vehicle in Baton Rouge, you're probably on Airline Highway. So go stop by, tell them we sent you in, and start that process today with one of their brand ambassadors. It's Genesis of Baton Rouge. You can find them online, genesisofbatonrouge.com, genesisofbatonrouge.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You work hard every day to pursue a life you love. You put in the time, and it shows. You're forging ahead, chasing a dream, creating something better for the ones you love. You're building your own life, so why not build your own tractor? With John Deere tractors and attachments for almost any need, the Sunshine team can help you do just that. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
So, just had a great conversation there with Peter Flaherty. I hope to have him back on sometime soon. Guys got a really good handle on college baseball, and I could tell that when I listened to their podcast yesterday. I candidly had not heard it before, but will be a return listener because I think they did a great job with it. And I'm constantly trying to take in as much college baseball content as I can for two reasons. One, I love it. I told you last week, dealing with these RPIs and strength of schedules and the moving, the metrics and all that kind of stuff fascinates me. And the second reason is I think I can be a little bit of education here for you. Is I think that's probably most of why you tune in. I don't think a lot of you tune in to my show because I make you cackle 4 times a day and you just can't stop laughing. It's a danger to stop driving. I do think that at times I can tell you something you may not already know. I can research something you may not already know and convey something and make you think a little bit, or give you information that you weren't armed with previously. And so I was checking into that. And one of the things that I continue to to wrestle with. And I talked about this in early March when LSU started SEC play. Like, these 10 weeks are so intense and so back and forth and so cutthroat. I mean, it was unfathomable to me that Arkansas would lose 4 out of 5 SEC series, that Tennessee would lose 5 out of 6 SEC series, including 4 straight at home. Like, that seemed impossible to me. But it is. It's possible because the league is so freaking good. And that makes these 10 weeks so entertaining because I can go down the list of the 8 SEC series and I can probably scrap the Missouri series until last week. And then you'll see what's going on with South Carolina. But, like, really, there's going to be like 5 marquee series every week that are fascinating, that have first-round draft choices pitching and Conference Player of the Year candidates. It's so great. I do have a small bit of me that is disappointed when we get to the postseason, into the Supers and in Omaha, and we just run it back. And that's probably the wrong way to look at it because, like, look at what LSU and Florida put on the field in 2023. I mean, Wyatt Langford was in the big leagues in like 5 minutes. He broke camp with the Rangers. What is that, 7 months later? Skeens was starting the All-Star game like right after that. Now, he didn't pitch in the championship series. I get it, but that's the team. Cruz was right up immediately. And that's quality entertainment for sure, and it's high-level baseball for sure. But it's so familiar. And I like the fact that when LSU used to get to Omaha, you'd play Stanford or you'd play Fullerton. Back in the day, you'd play Wichita State. I like the idea of Florida State being there and you playing them, or dealing with the Kyle Schwarber Indiana team. And now I look at the college baseball brackets and the projections they put out, and because the SEC is going to put legitimately 13 or 14 teams in, we'll see what Kentucky and Mississippi State do over the next 2 weeks. There has to be an SEC team in all but 2 regionals. Like, you look at the Baseball America bracket that we were just discussing with Peter, and you've got 6 of the top 8 national seeds or SEC teams. So clearly, those have an SEC team in them. They're the host. But you look at the 2 that aren't. You've got Tallahassee, which does not have an SEC team in it. And then you've got Chapel Hill, which has Florida in it. Now, again, we don't know where these teams are going, but I'm doing this as an example. And then Tallahassee is paired with Los Angeles in this, and that doesn't have an SEC team. But those are the only 3. There's an SEC team in every other pod. So for LSU, in the Baseball America pod, you've got Louisville, Arizona, and Central Connecticut in your regional. I don't know anything about those teams other than that Jay Johnson used to coach at Arizona. But they're paired with Fort Worth, and there's Oklahoma. And that makes me immediately go, well, there's Kyson Witherspoon right in front of you. And it's not unlike Jonathan Gray, who was at Oklahoma in 2013. And they went up to West Virginia and won that regional. So they came to Baton Rouge, and you had to face Big Bad Dude. And there's Kyson Witherspoon right there. And I'll flip it over, and I'll look at D1 Baseball. And both of these publications have LSU as the number 2 national seed behind Texas. And D1 Baseball's got Miami, Southeastern, and Bryant in LSU's pod. And then across the way in Raleigh, who LSU would play in a super, there's Florida as the 2 seed. And Florida is sizzling. I think they're 10-2 in their last 4 weekends in league play. Just beat Texas, beat Arkansas. Like, they're playing awesome. And it just feels like it's inevitable that LSU's getting an SEC team coming in here in the Super, if they can get there, obviously. And then you look to Omaha, and I feel like you're probably going to have 5 SEC teams in Omaha. And that's great for competition. And it's great for ESPN because you've got big fan bases that really care, that feel like they've got a chance to win a national championship, and that's really good for the sport. And you've got high-profile players that are more recognizable to the common fan than when Stony Brook shows up, right? But you knew this was coming the day that they announced that this transfer portal was a reality. And LSU's capitalized big time. LSU does not win the national championship in 2023 without Tommy White and Paul Skeens and Thatcher Hurd, who they took from 2 power conferences in the Air Force Academy via Team USA. But it's just driven the talent down into one little spot. And maybe it's because it hurts worse to lose to Ole Miss or Florida than it does to lose to Florida State or UC Irvine. But they're just scarier too. And it feels like because you're going to put so many teams into the tournament, like when you had 12 teams in the SEC, 4 of them weren't going to make it. All of a sudden, there's only 8 teams in the tournament. Like, you're not that concerned. Now, you got 16 teams in the league, and 14 are going to make it, and there are only 16 regionals, and you can only have 1 per regional, so somebody's everywhere. They're all over the place. You can't take a step without dealing with an SEC team. And this is not I'm not terrified that LSU has no chance to move on. LSU's done fine at home against SEC teams. Fine meaning they hadn't lost a series yet. So I'm okay with that. It's just, I'd probably rather play West Virginia. And maybe the host that has the SEC team will beat them. I just don't have any confidence in that. Because Florida was a nearly under 500 team last year until the last week. And they went to Stillwater and laid the hammer on them, and went to Clemson and laid the hammer on them. What did Florida finish in the league last year? 11th? Ole Miss, 2 years before that. Last team in the field. Goes to Miami, wins. Goes to Southern Miss, wins. I feel like the 11th best team in the SEC is better than the 2nd or 3rd best team in the ACC, or certainly Big 12. And it feels halfway not healthy for the sport, halfway like I'd really rather do something different. So if you're LSU, the good news is that this caveat means that when you host a regional, they can't show up. So that's one feather in your cap. But after that, probably going to have to jump right back into this grind. So I don't know if it's good or bad. I go back and forth on it. I wanted Peter's thoughts. He thinks that the committee's going to go with 6 national seeds. I did a segment on that yesterday and wrote about it today at LouisianaSports.net. If you're curious about the national seed picture and you'd like to know what that kind of looks like, I've done, I think, a representative job of making it really digestible over at LouisianaSports.net. I took all the teams that have a chance to get a national seed as of right now and just did a blurb on them. And the resume sits right there, and I think it's pretty easy to read. So if you're curious about that and what LSU needs to do, go check it out. If you're thinking to yourself, well, LSU's the number 2 national seed according to Baseball America and the 2 national seed according to D1 Baseball, they're in. I don't think they are. I think it's likely they're in because I think it's likely they're going to win 2 games this weekend. But if they got swept, which anything's possible, if they got swept, you got issues. Your RPI is going to be an issue. The amount of SEC teams in front of you is going to be an issue because Bama could probably push in front of you. There'd be 6 SEC teams in front of you in the RPI. And then your standing in the conference could be an issue. And at that point, they will start looking elsewhere. But I lay that all out in the piece at LouisianaSports.net. Go check it out there. It's for free. No paywalls, no pop-ups, no nothing. Just go check it out at LouisianaSports.net. SEC Power Ranking. Speaking of the SEC, let's do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. You're looking to get in the pool of your dreams. Contact my guy Joey Blanchard, builtbyrenaissance.com. Beautiful thing about working with Renaissance Homes and Pools is you're going to deal with a local company that has the owner front and center. Joey Blanchard owns and operates the company. He's going to be the person you sit down with to make sure that your design is exactly what you want. He's got this incredible software that can make it reality right there in front of you to scale. You can put your furniture there, you can put your outdoor kitchen there, and show you exactly what it's going to look like to scale. And then they'll get to work, and you'll see Joey when that work begins, and you'll see Joey when that work ends, and all the way through. I love telling you about local businesses where the ownership cares and they're involved. Those are the kind of people you want to work with. And Joey Blanchard is part of the Baton Rouge community and has done this for dozens and dozens of folks around the area. It's Renaissance Homes and Pools. You can find them online at builtbyrenaissance.com. You're looking at potentially, depending on weather, obviously, 6, 8, 9 weeks, start to finish, but getting that pool done. So start right now. You're talking about midsummer. You're in that swimming pool. Go to builtbyrenaissance.com right now. Fill out that contact information. Get in that pool of your dreams. Renaissance Homes and Pools. All right. It's that time. This is not going to go well, by the way. I can already feel that.
I just saw it, and I'm preparing for the
my
worst.
Bones. Let's do some power rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Okay, calm down, people. Calm down. I was there at the box.
Pitchforks are out, Hunt.
I was there for both wins, and Saturday was a clock cleaning. I was there. And I like LSU's top two in the rotation better than Arkansas's. But Zach Root's still really good, and Gage Wood's still really good, and Arkansas's lineup, I think, is better and more consistent than LSU's. I'm thrilled LSU won the series. I'm thrilled it was at home, and I'm thrilled we're not playing Arkansas this week. Do I think Arkansas is a little bit better than LSU? I do, and I've said that. Now, I get it. They've lost 3 out of 4. I know. But I'm just trying to take the entirety of the body of work as opposed to just the smallest sample size we just saw. I love LSU's team. Told you on Monday to start the show that LSU's good enough to do whatever they want. I have Arkansas at number 1.
The LSU Tigers.
I did move LSU up from 3 to 2, okay? I think LSU has got a force at the top of its rotation with Anderson and Ianson, and I like the lineup at home a lot, but I still have in my brain that weekend at Auburn and that weekend at Texas A&M and some of that weekend at Oklahoma and some of that weekend in Austin, and it gives me a little bit of pause, but hopefully they can play at home for the first 2 weeks of the postseason and shake that off. I like LSU a lot. Very much can win a national championship. Second in the SEC and probably second in the country. That's not bad.
The Auburn Tigers.
I moved Auburn up 2 spots here, and it's not because they crushed South Carolina, who's awful. But Dutton's throwing it well, and Tilley's been pretty good, and we knew that Ike Irish was going to be good, and he's going to be a first-round pick, and Cooper McMurray hits a lot of home runs, and these freshmen are dynamos. Keep in mind, I don't think Derek Carroll is going to win Freshman of the Year in the league. That's going to come from Auburn. I think Auburn's really good. Butch Thompson's done a nice job. I have been doubting them really all year. Not right now. I got them up to number 3.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
I know Georgia went to Tuscaloosa and lost. I know. But they also hit 1 billion home runs in the first game, and they're scary in that way. They throw hard on the pitching staff, even though they walk too many guys. And they've had some weekends that haven't been great. But they are ferocious offensively, and I'm going to give them that feather in their cap and put them up at number 4.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Commodores go to Knoxville and win 2 out of 3. That's impressive. J.D. Thompson looks fantastic. Fennell has been weird but really good. If you're not familiar with Fennell, their third starter, he quick pitches everybody, and he throws a bunch of stuff that's like 86 miles an hour, and it's weird, but it works. And their ERA as a team is sparkling, and they're starting to hit a little bit more. It's not great, but they're hitting a little bit more. And I was impressed with what they did in Knoxville over the weekend. So I will give Vanderbilt the nod, up 3 spots from number 8 to number 5.
The Texas Longhorns.
I'm just not real high on Texas right now. And I realize that I told you I wasn't trying to be reactionary with Arkansas and LSU. And I was trying to look at the whole body work. And Texas' whole body work's really good. But I'm concerned about the offense. We'll see what Ballou does when he comes back. I'm concerned with not having Spencer. I'm concerned with how they played the last 6 games. I'm probably not going to pick them to come out of their own regional. I just don't feel great. The talent level didn't feel great when they were 19-2, and I just couldn't ignore it. But now, after 2 weeks, I think they may have turned into a pumpkin. I could be proven an idiot, which would happen, or not the first time, the billionth time. But I just don't love Texas right now.
The Florida Gators.
I do like Florida a lot, and I gave up on them. They were 1-11 in the league. Now they are sizzling. You knew what they had with Liam Peterson at the top of the rotation, but now Pierce Coppola is back and throwing the ball really well. And they're hitting, and I know they don't have Kobe Shelton, and they wish they had him, but they're winning a lot of games. And I think Kevin O'Sullivan's a great coach, and I think this program always had talent, and it's starting to show a little bit now. And they've got a real chance, to go from 1-11 to hosting a regional if they can sweep Alabama this weekend, which would be unbelievable.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
I moved the balls back to 8. They're just not winning any series. And I think Liam Doyle is the best ace in the country. And I think some of the guys they have in the bullpen throw 100 miles an hour, including Nate Snead. And I think their lineup can be really, really scary. But they don't beat anyone, and I don't know what to do with that. They've got an issue with Marcus Phillips in the second slot, not because he can't pitch. He pitches pretty well. But everybody that gets on base steals second and steals third. That's a problem, and it drove Tony Vitello nuts this week, and he said that Phillips may not be able to pitch anymore because he can't hold runners on. That's as direct as you'll hear Tony Vitello about a player on his own team. So I think Tennessee's really talented. I think they can go to Omaha. I think they can win. I got them 8.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama moves up 3 spots after beating Georgia 2 out of 3. Talent in the staff that hasn't materialized. Talent in the lineup. They're probably a host. If they go to Gainesville and sweep or win 2 out of 3, can they potentially sneak into the top 8? Maybe. The RPI is really good. They're pretty good. They're not great by my estimation. That's why I've got them at number 9.
The Oklahoma Sooners
dropped Oklahoma back 1 spot to number 10. They've kind of been hovering between 11 and 9 for most of the season. It's Kyson, and then it's what else you got. They don't hit a ton. They do run a lot. They're athletic. They'll be dangerous as a 2 seed, I think, because of Witherspoon, but I don't think that their entirety of the team in terms of talent level and the completeness of the team is great. So got them down at number 10.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss stays put, lost a weekend series over the weekend. They'll welcome Auburn into Oxford. I like Hunter Elliott when he throws his fastball for a strike. Sometimes he doesn't do that, and when he doesn't, he gives up runs. And then after that, I don't love the rotation. They're all or nothing on offense. They hit a home run or they don't get much. Now, they hit a lot of home runs, which is good. They strike out way too much, and that hurts you in college baseball because college players make a lot of errors. And if you strike out, you can't force them to make errors. So for that reason, their offense goes stagnant some, but they're good. They'll be a 2 seed, I think. I don't think they'll get out of a regional, but they could.
Texas A&M!
Drop the Aggies back 5 spots, and I don't know what else you could do because you got to look at the entirety of the body of work, and they've been swept 4 times now, including by Missouri, who's the worst SEC team ever. So I'm not sure how to handle that properly. Would I take some guys off of their team and put them on my team most years? Yeah. Would I take their record right now? No, it's awful. So that's why they're back at number 12.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Now Mississippi State's got to deal with red-hot Mizzou. So you got that. Mississippi State, good pitching staff, good offense that won over the weekend against Ole Miss. They're playing on some emotion. They're playing with some talent. They've got their limitations, but they're kind of playing freed up with no coach now, and that was a good weekend win for them over the weekend. So I got them at 13.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Good weekend for Kentucky. They've put themselves in position to get into the NCAA tournament, but I didn't feel like it was enough to move the needle for me because I don't like their talent level. And I've said it every single week on Wednesdays. It just is what it is. So we'll see if they can play one more good one to try to get their way into the SEC tournament with a decent seed and wiggle their way into the NCAA tournament. They're going to be right there on the bubble come Selection Monday, and for that reason, they're all the way back at 14 because I think they would be the last team in.
The Missouri Tigers.
You heard that right. Moved them up to 15. The Missouri Tigers go to College Station. They pop the bubbles. They win 3 games. They hit the ball over the place. They held Texas A&M to 4 hits in the last 2 days.
It wasn't close, Hunt.
It was not close. It was not close. They scored 6 in the 9th on Friday and then dominated for 2 straight days. Small sample size, sure, but I got to move them up.
They proved us wrong, Hunt. We said they weren't going to win 3 games. They did it in one weekend.
I think we had to set the over-under at a certain point at a half.
We did.
It was a half. They got it done.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Oof. Does that put some pressure on LSU if I do that?
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, but what am I supposed to do? They went to Auburn and gave up $1 billion. There's your SEC power rankings.
Yeah, sorry. It was a little bit long, so we ran out of the
That's
bed
I mean, we were right there at the end. That's good.
Yeah, we were.
But would you have moved Missouri up?
Yes, of course. They won. They swept
South Carolina's
Texas
got
A&M.
5 wins.
Okay, but we're talking about right now. This is the rankings for this week. Right now, I would have Missouri over South Carolina. South Carolina could not have made more mistakes in the series last weekend.
They did
was
lose
atrocious.
one of the games 11-10. They were competitive in that game.
Were.
The other 2 we don't need to talk about.
No.
There was a 24-2 in there.
Yes, there was.
That's
and then
tough
the next
scene.
game, they were the pitcher tried to throw it to first base with 1 out and in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Yeah, that was tough. I think I had to do it. Now, no one has barged in the door with a pitchfork yet. That I need to monitor.
Now
the
chat is
the chat's up in
no
arms.
Surprise. There's no surprise. The chat is going crazy right now.
I have to read my sheet during that. I can't memorize all that.
Let's just go through. Okay, let's see. Hunt is on fentanyl. I like LSU a lot, but they suck. Hunt Palmer beginning to wonder.
I didn't say they suck. I ranked them 2nd in the league.
Beginning to wonder if Hunt watches baseball. I think Hunt thinks it's a jinx for him to put us at number 1.
Have I put LSU number 1? I don't know if I have or not. I think I have.
I think you have. I think
I have. But
Hunt is jealous. T-Bob's getting all the attention today, so he had to do something extra stupid to get back in the limelight.
Have y'all seen Arkansas hit? They didn't hit a lot against LSU, but I mean they're really good. LSU's had some issues.
Yes. Look, I don't think you did something horrible by putting Arkansas number 1, LSU number 2. You are doing what the definition of your rankings are, which is not just taking what happened last week.
It's not a week-long snapshot. It's not a head-to-head contest.
Yes.
Because everybody's got their warts.
And
here.
you finally are respecting Vanderbilt. I really appreciate the fact you had them at 5.
I mean, I usually, and I've talked about my process here. I don't look at the week before. I just go do it, and then I pull up the Instagram post of the week before, and then I see how much everybody moved. And usually there's like 1 or 2 that moved, 2 or 3, and a lot of 1s and 0s. In this week, Vandy moved up 3, Florida moved up 3, Tennessee moved back 4, Bama moved up 3, A&M moved back 5. So there was just that's way more than usual.
A lot of movement.
Very volatile. I think we got 2 more of these left.
Yep.
It'll be the middle of the SC tournament next week, and then into regional week, and then we'll hang them up. So South Carolina, Missouri really have 2 more chances here to blast off for that bottom spot, and then we'll see what I decide to do with LSU. I will say this. I feel good about LSU's team right now, but Arkansas's lineup is very, very good, and their bullpen can be very, very good. LSU got to it on Friday night, and I'm thankful for that. It was actually Saturday morning, so I was there. All that SEC Power Rankings will move forward and close things out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. They can do it all. Put in a gorgeous walk-in tub. Put in a glass walk-in shower. They can do your entire vanity with all the drawers and the mirrors and everything to spruce up the bathroom. If you live in an older house and are looking to do just a smaller scale renovation on a couple of things, David Duvall and his team are happy to do that. If you'd like to do the whole meal deal, David Duvall and his team can do all of that as well. They are licensed, they are bonded, they are insured, and they've been doing it for 3 decades. Go with someone you can trust. It's One Bath and Closets. Find them online. You can get that free consultation. That doesn't cost you anything to sit down with David and talk about what you're looking for. He can show you something he's done in the past that looks quite like it, I'm sure, because he's done it a lot. And then you can move forward understanding that there are financing options available, 0% up to 18 months. That's same as cash if you qualify for it. It's One Bath and Closets. Check them out online, onebathandclosets.com, onebathandclosets.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
The 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge Spring Cha-Ching, powered by Citizens Bank and Trust, is back. Register today at 1045ESPN.com for your chance to win $5,000 in cash. It is the Spring Cha-Ching cash giveaway from Citizens Bank and Trust and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Have you seen these British guys, Jace and Josh, touring Louisiana?
No, I have not.
I don't know what their whole channel has
Cassie,
been.
you seen them? What's the deal?
It popped into my...
I've seen them before, but I haven't really watched a lot of their stuff.
I've seen a lot of their Louisiana stuff. They stayed in they didn't stay there. It was the hotel they got in Shreveport was so bad they left.
Well, what do you expect from Shreveport? I mean,
find a place to lodge. They went down to Lake Charles and had Daryl Special. Enjoyed that. They went to Billy's to get some boudin balls.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like they were impressed.
Really?
I would eat 50 of them if you gave
Billy.
them to me.
Yeah, Billy's is quite good.
They did not pronounce Homa properly.
Well,
Huma is what they were calling it.
I'm surprised they didn't mispronounce a lot of other things.
Yeah, so they did some barbecue down in Huma that appeared to be pretty good. But it's just been interesting. I'm curious how lucrative that gig is and what else they've been doing. All I've ever seen is their Louisiana stuff. I'm sure there's lots more of two British guys running around elsewhere outside of Louisiana. But I was thrilled that they liked a Daryl Special because I like a Daryl Special. Not liking the boudin balls. I mean, come on, man. That's my kid likes a boudin ball. He's 3.
I mean, as if you're in Louisiana, you like boudin.
They also
Bowden doesn't like them.
Bowden is what they were calling it. Yeah.
I think that's probably the point of the content, right? Is to just go around and mispronounce everything and
screw up a lot.
Talk about it. Yeah.
All right, let's play Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, first one here. This has been in the news a little bit in the golf world since the Masters anyway. Bryson DeChambeau mentioned that Rory McIlroy didn't speak to him once during the final round of said Masters when, of course, Rory ended up winning, completing the career Grand Slam. Somebody asked Rory about it at his PGA Championship press conference, and he said, quote, "I don't know what he was expecting. We're trying to win the Masters. I'm not going to try to be his best mate out there." A rivalry brewing between Rory and Bryson. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I mean, I don't think they care. There is a video of the two of them at the first tee at the Masters, and it's very cordial.
Yeah.
Smiles, handshakes, caddy shakes, like the whole deal. He didn't talk to him after that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
you're not out there to be best buds. It's not. I mean, I'm not asking a bunch of questions walking down the fairway. If you want to do that, and it's fine, whatever. Like, you're certainly under no responsibility to do that. So yeah, I think that was a whole bunch of nothing. And that, again, the Bryson answer just seemed a little bit out of touch, which is just par for the course. He's out of touch. He doesn't function like the normal social people, and when something happens, he usually doesn't handle it really well.
All right, next one here. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred announced yesterday that he was removing Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, among other all deceased players that were on the MLB's permanently ineligible list, meaning both Rose and Jackson will be eligible for consideration by the Classic Era Baseball Committee for the Hall of Fame. Rose and Jackson will both get in. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. There's still a lot of people that don't like Pete Rose. They'll try to keep him out. If you saw me on Twitter, this was not a shot at Bob Ryan at all. Like, well, I don't know Bob Ryan. I never read anything Bob Ryan's written. He's been on Pardon the Interruption a lot. But, like, he said, never forget that Pete Rose loved baseball as much as anyone ever, but he loved gambling more. And I was just like, I will probably forget that because I just know him as a guy that got a lot of hits. So
yes.
That's fine with me.
The most hits.
I didn't watch him play, but I think he was pretty good, and that's probably what I'll remember more than his gambling. So just me. I'm torn on this whole deal about posthumously putting him in the Hall of Fame. I don't think they'll get in. I don't think Pete Rose will get in because there are a lot of people that hate him. Maybe as time goes on and in 20 years when all those guys have aged out of voting, but I just kind of doubt it.
Yeah, it still seems a bit much for me. Like there's guys in the NFL Hall of Fame, O.J. Simpson. No, never. There's a lot of guys that are in the Hall of Fame that did some things you probably would say, they probably should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose bet on some baseball games. Probably only bet on his team to win, was as he said. So I don't understand why the guy with the most hits in the history of the league should probably be in the Hall of Fame. But that's just a lot of guys in the baseball writing world apparently disagree with me.
So 200 hits is a great season. That's a big benchmark. You got 200 hits a year for 20 years, you'd still be significantly short of Pete Rose.
Yeah. That's just one way to look at it, and it's pretty obvious to see this guy was definitely deserving. But all right, last one here. The Baltimore Ravens have signed running back Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $30 million extension, the largest in NFL history for a running back over 30. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. I'll take it. He's very much still productive. He was great last year. It's a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
If it was a 5-year deal, I'd be like, well, you're nuts. But it's 2 years. There's a chance next year, in 2026, that he's obviously over the hill.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great chance. But
it still is one more year.
I'm all in for this. The Ravens usually do smart stuff. So I'll err on that side. That's it for Take It or Leave It here on this Wednesday, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. That's it for us here. Be back tomorrow getting you ready for LSU and South Carolina. Fired up to do it. Matt's going to drive you home on AFR. See you tomorrow, same time, same place for the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile.